This is going to be mainly another venting video. I just need to say that throughout all the years of BlazBlue, I just loved hearing new character themes, new versus themes, what have you. But I swear to God, there are some characters that really needed their own versus theme, and I just don't know how to express it any other way other than to vent it out in the video. So let me start by saying Lambda needed her own version of Awakening the Chaos. That's pretty much an obvious thing right there. She needed her own Awakening the Chaos, at least like her own theme. I don't care if it's a remix. I don't care if it's a reimagining of it, but she needed her own theme. I don't care what anyone says. Literally, that was lame that she still uses news theme. Now I know she wasn't originally just a freaking just new again, but she needed her own theme. Now she's her own character. Hell, Terry got his own theme in Chronophantasma Extend. He had to deal with what? Endless Despair and Endless Despair 2 in Chronophantasma Extend. So I feel like Lambda should get her own theme. Like that's just right there, dude. She needed her own theme. But the point is, yeah, now I actually get to move on to who needed their own versus themes. Starting with number one, and I really think everyone can agree on this: Ragna versus Nu. The two have been practically at each other's throats ever since Calamity Trigger, then Chronophantasma, then Essential Fiction, all that. But they needed their own theme. I mean, come on, you figure Hakumen and Ragna got their own theme when Chronophantasma, when they didn't even really need one anymore because they had no animosities to one another. So the fact that Ragna and Nu don't have one after all other 10+ years is really weird. This song is long overdue. I don't care if it's like a mashup between Rebellion and Awakening Chaos. They needed something, really. My versus Relius is also another one that I really wish that I could have heard, because Mai hated him. Like, she really does hate the guy. So, I mean, that's enough for me to give him a versus theme. I mean, the only versus theme Relius has is what? Him versus Carl and him versus Valkenheim. So, but yeah, another one I would like to see is Mu versus Easioi. I mean, it's self-explanatory. I mean, literally, this is self-explanatory. Why they don't have their own theme yet? But yeah, whatever. Moving on to the next, I would like to see Mu 12 versus Lambda versus Nu. It's like a like a collective battle team, like the Sector 7 theme or the 6 Heroes theme or stuff like that. I would like to see a Murakumo battle theme, which could be like some epic version of Awakening in Chaos. I don't even care. Like, I feel like songs like Reincarnation would have been a perfect Murakumo theme, which it would have, because it sounds like, you know, it has the woman wailing in the background, like Awakening in Chaos. Another one I would like to see is Ragna versus Nu. And to me personally, I count Pandora Tears as their versus theme, because it does play in the cutscene. You know, it plays in the cutscene before, you know, Ragna basically uses his sacrifices his arm to go save Mu. So I would like to see that. And another one I like to see is Ragna versus Naoto. That's obvious. Like, that's literally obvious of what a versus thing could be, because Jaeger kind of sounds like Rebellion anyway. And I would feel like it'd be some more like metal and hard rock. Like, it would. I feel like the theme would sound more like a Guilty Gear theme than a BlazBlue theme. You know, like Dissonance, Valkenheim and Relius' theme. Dissonance kind of sounds like a Guilty Gear theme. You could put that in Guilty Gear and just be like, oh shoot, that sounds like it belongs here. So I feel like Ragna and Naoto's theme would have been like that. There's a bunch more I got to go through. Jin versus Hakumen, and do not say Blood Pain. Because every time I say this, someone says Blood Pain, and I'm so sick of that. Like, really, like, come on. No more Blood Pain. I want a Jin Hakumen thing. They don't even get Blood Pain. They don't get Blood Pain in the cutscene because of the same dude, so whatever. They get the cutscene in Chronophantasma where they destroy the Pillar of the Monolith, so yeah, it doesn't count. Ragna 9 would have been a great theme. Kagura versus Azrael would have been a great theme, and do not say Fatal Judge, because I will hunt you down and murder you. Bullet versus Tager would have been a great theme, though Sector 7 does count as their theme in Chronophantasma. But I don't count that because that's some memory-esque BS that happened in Central Fiction that made Bullet believe that she was a member of Sector 7. Doesn't count. Does not count. Kagura versus Hibiki would have been one. Ragna versus Susanoo would have been one I'd like. I count Hakai Shino because In the data mine of the game, it says the Hakaishi is the unlimited is an unlimited Susanoo theme, but since unlimited Susanoo doesn't exist in Central Fiction, I would prefer if it was just a theme of both Ragna and Susanoo, because they're both destroyer, seen as things of destruction, destroyer gods or whatever. You know, so that would have been one. Ragna versus Terami. Ragna and Terami do not have their own versus theme. Ragna and Hazama do, because they have Nightmare Fiction. But if you pit Ragna and Terami together, they have no versus theme. And you figured those two of all people would have a versus theme. Or better yet, just update the game to where they Ragna, if Ragna went against Terami, they would have Nightmare Fiction. But yeah, Ragna and Terami do not have a theme, and you figured those two of all people would have their own versus theme. Yet Daisuke had a theme wasted on Hakumen and Susanoo, who don't even fight each other. But yet Ragna and Terami don't have one. Naoto and Nu would have one, but that's mainly relating to Murakumo Bloodedge Experience business. It's not a theme I'm really clamoring for, but that would have been great. Ragna versus Tsubaki and Izuyori. And Izuyori is so pissy about eliminating him. You figure those two would have, like, you know, a versus theme by now. Bang versus Tsubaki, just for giggles. You know, justice buddies, you know, just for kids and giggles. I like that. Izanami versus Susanoo. Kind of self-explanatory. Shinto gods, epic showdown, great battle, whatever. That'd been great. Though, I guess it really would work at Izanami's case because she kind of dies. She kind of dies after Susanoo becomes a thing, so whatever. S versus Ragna and Naoto. Now, S is kind of tied to the two because A, she's like, well, she's tied to Ragna in a way that, like, Ragna's the guardian of the Azure now. Not guardian of Azure, my bad. He is the man of the Azure. And Naoto, I just threw him in just for kids and giggles, man. Then you got another one I like to see is Hakumen versus Rachel, or Jin versus Rachel. Doesn't matter. I mean, Jin and Rachel kind of have that relationship, which is they kind of well, it's more a Hakumen and Rachel should have a theme. Jin kind of comes close because he's just Hakumen anyway, but you know, whatever. Another one I like to see is Mai versus Makoto versus Noelle versus Tsubaki. I want a bestie versus battle theme. But Noelle and Tsubaki will have Memory of Tears, but I honestly can't see that unless Tsubaki is just taken out of the picture. But other than that, I would like the whole best friends battle theme unless Noelle and Tsubaki go against one another. In that case, they'll just use her Memory of Tears. They already have a battle theme, so I'm not going to throw it away. Another one I'd like to see is Jubei versus Terami. And no does not count as the 6 heroes teams. I just want those two fighting against one another, not 6 heroes. I don't count their theme. Another one I'd like to see is Jubei versus Ragna, a training type of versus theme, you know, because they're master and appearance respectively. And finally, the last versus theme I would like to see is Makoto versus Relius. And the only reason I say that is because that's a throwback to her bad ending in Continuum Shift. And other than that, I think that's it for all the versus themes I would like to see in the game. I've pretty much went through all of them I would like to see. So I'm going to run down the ones I said in case people forget near the end of the video. Ragna versus Nu, Mai versus Relius, Mu 12 versus Izuyori, Mu 12 versus Lambda versus Nu, Ragna versus Mu, Ragna versus Naoto, Jin versus Hakumen, 9 versus Ragna, Kagura versus Azrael, Bullet versus Tager, Kagura versus Hibiki, Ragna versus Susanoo, Ragna versus Terami, Naoto versus Nu, Ragna versus Izuyori/Tsubaki, Bang versus Tsubaki, Izanami, messed up there, Izanami versus Susanoo, S versus Ragna and Naoto, Hakumen versus Rachel, Mai versus Makoto versus Noelle versus Tsubaki, Jubei versus Terami, Ragna versus Jubei, and finally Makoto versus Relius.